Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. Once again, I mentioned this earlier, I had this happening earlier in the week as well. In case you're hearing background noise, I have the dishwasher running again, but I do have the door closed to try to deaden some of the sound from that. But today we're going back to the Cthulhu Mythos, a much more familiar setting than what we've been exploring of late, and we're going to play Cthulhu Death May Die from CMON Games. In this game, unlike normal when we're trying to run away from the Ancient One, this time we're trying to punch the Ancient One in the mouth, I guess. But we're trying to disrupt a ritual and then defeat the Ancient One in a more Smash Mouth setting than in the Arkham Horror files, when we tend to be a little bit more elusive. So that's our goal here. As usual, we've got our Ancient One and our scenario all set up. We're going to work our way over to the board. First up, we're going to meet our investigators. Every investigator here will have an insanity track, a stress track, and a health track. Two ways we can lose the game before the Ancient One. Actually, there are several ways we can lose the game, but before the Ancient One wakes up, if one of our investigators gets defeated, whether by sanity or by damage, we lose the game. Or if the Ancient One wakes up when they're all defeated. We obviously win the game by disrupting the Ancient One and then defeating him. But our first investigator, might be a little bit hard to read. Let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit more. There we go. Is Tina. Her special quote, "I don't go looking for trouble. It finds me without any help." Tina will be doing everything in red. There's a look at her mini. I'll move her over to the starting space for our scenario. Her special ability, her unique character ability is Femme Fatale. Once per roll, before rolling dice, you may take a wound to gain a green die at level 1. Instead, to gain 2 at level 2. Level 3, instead gain 2 green dice or remove 1 die of your choice. And then to level 4, instead of taking 1 wound for your ability, give that wound to any figure in your space. So basically we could knee a cultist in the balls and then get the extra roll on that. It might be a little bit hard to see, but at each sanity threshold as well, I should have mentioned that, you'll gain an extra green die. So you definitely want to go down the sanity track, but you don't want to fly down it. A consolation is once you hit a sanity threshold, you'll stop at that threshold and resolve the ability. Each character comes with a unique ability. We went through Tina's, and then they have 2 generic abilities. Tina's generic abilities are Stealth. When you run, you may sneak once when enemy doesn't follow you at level 1. Level 2, when you run, you may sneak 3 times. Level 3, deal 1 wound to each enemy you sneak past. And level 4, instead you may sneak any number of times. As for her last ability, it's Brawling. Gain a green die when attacking a target in your space at level 1. Level 2, when you attack, you may target any number of figures in your space. Split the wounds as you like. Level 3, you have 2 free rerolls when attacking a target in your space. And level 4, when you attack figures in your space, deal the full wounds to each target. So we might need to level up Brawling depending on what happens during the scenario. Now, turns are going to move left to right, are going to move basically in a Z shape. So we're going to move to the right, then down, then across. But for purposes of introducing the investigators, I'm going to tip the shot down just slightly. I'm going to tip the shot down so we can meet the investigators basically in one stack. So we'll tip down, and we'll meet what's actually our third investigator, being the Kid. Her unique quote is Maniacal Laughter. Her unique character ability is Gate Manipulation. At level 1, if you're in the same space as a gate, monsters and cultists summoned there take wounds equal to half their health, and you round up for that. Level 2, this skill works if you're in one space of a gate. Level 3, if you're within one space of a gate, you're always considered safe to rest. And level 4, if you're within one space of a gate, you gain a green die and have 1 free rest action. Her special action, her two generic abilities are Marksman. You may attack a target 1 space away at level 1. Level 2, gain 2 green dice when attacking a target not in your space. Level 3, you may target 1 additional space away, 2 total. And level 4, you may perform one free attack per turn against a target not in your space. And Arcane Mastery. When rolling, you may count one Elder Sign as a success. So to explain how the dice work, that's actually a good segue for that. We have two different colors of dice. Everybody will get 3 black dice to start their attack. The black die has a blank face, an Elder Sign, 2 just successes, and 2 success and a success and a sanity, and just a sanity. If we rolled, let's say we rolled just an exclamation mark, that would be considered a success. The sanity would send us down our sanity track a little bit more. It would send us down 1 per tentacle we roll. Obviously, that would give us both a success and a sanity. The Elder Sign is normally a blank, but if you have Arcane Mastery, it's not considered a blank. Then the green die takes away the tentacle faces and introduces the success with an Elder Sign. For someone with Arcane Mastery, that would be equivalent to 2 successes. Just to explain how the dice work. So that's a brief ramble on how Arcane Mastery works. Level 2, instead you may count any number of Elder Signs as successes. Level 3, heal 1 stress for each Elder Sign you count as a success. And level 4, you may count any number of Elder Signs as 2 successes each. So definitely a lot of stuff there that we might want to consider leveling up. But that will do it for those 2 investigators. Now let's go meet our 2nd and 4th investigators. Silly me, I almost forgot to mention. Each investigator also has a disorder that triggers when you reach one of the red spaces on the track. So Tina's disorder today is short-term memory loss. If you're at full stress, heal all of your stress and discard 1 discovery card of your choice. If you're not at full stress, take 1 stress. So basically we'd have to be all the way over on the stress threshold, and I'll explain more about how stress can be used in the game. As for the kid, her psychological disorder today, Pyromania. When it goes off, put a fire... Oh, this is a bad one for the scenario, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Put a fire token in your space, then deal wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in your space to all other figures there. So we do need to be very careful of that. Especially with this scenario, but I'll talk more about that when we get into the scenario description. We've got the combat medic here, Fleur. Let me see if I can zoom in so we can read her ability. That'll work. Okay. Her special ability is Combat Medic. When you rest, you may divide the healing amongst investigators in your space at level 1. Level 2, when you rest, heal an additional 2 stress or health, total of 5. When you rest, deal 2 wounds to an enemy within 1 space at level 3. And level 4, instead, deal 2 wounds to all enemies within 1 space when you rest. Alright, and then her character abilities are Marksman and Stealth. We've gone through both of those already, so no need to go through those again. As for Fleur's disorder, I'll actually remember to go through it when I'm going through the character this time. Kleptomania. Steal at least 1 item, companion, or tradable episode token from any investigator in your space to heal all of your stress. If you can't steal anything, take 2 stress. Oh, great. We've got somebody who's been hit in the head a few times, a pyromaniac, a kleptomaniac, and now let's see what we've got in our 4th investigator. Oh, her quote. The Great War saw more action, though it was less horrific. Well, one would think. But let's tip down and meet our last investigator. I'll adjust just slightly. And then we'll zoom out to meet Ernest. His quote, "Don't tell me I'm here. I'll ask myself for copies of my future work." That seems mildly out there, but whatever. Everybody, of course, starts with 5 health. His unique ability is Demon Hunter. You have 2 free rerolls when attacking monsters at level 1. Level 2, you may take 1 wound to make a free attack against a monster. Level 3, gain a green die when attacking monsters. And level 4, other investigators within 1 space gain the skill at level 3. So if we can level that up all the way, we'll probably want to keep the team together. And then his character abilities are Marksman and Arcane Mastery. Basically the exact same as the kid, so no need to go through those again. But we'll look at his disorder for today. His disorder Fear of crowds. Take 1 stress for every other figure in your space, enemy or investigator. If you're alone, heal all of your stress instead. Kind of like me. I'm not deathly afraid of crowds, but I really don't like them either. That's why I've kind of shied away from Summerfest up here in the area. I went there once. I think I went up there to see Lindsay Sterling a few years ago, but I've kind of shied away from crowds ever since. And not that I'm a very social person to begin with, but that ramble aside, as we continue working our way over to the board, let's stop over at the scenario space on the board. We're actually taking on something of a rematch of one of the first times that we played this game on the channel. We're actually taking on Blasphemous Alchemy, so let's go through that scenario. What's worse than cultists? Cultists who have set the place on fire. Another night and another damn ritual to summon an elder god. If we blow up their labs, we can cause a lot of trouble for whatever it is they're summoning. To disrupt the ritual, we need to destroy 4 of the 5 labs by dealing 4 or more total wounds to them with the destroy equipment action. When the Elder One advances, place 1 fire token in each space that has any cultist and no fire. Joy. Our special episode actions are Extinguish Fire. Make a roll. Remove 1 fire token in your space for each success. And Destroy Equipment. Make a roll against a lab in your space. This doesn't count as an attack. Each success deals 1 wound to the lab. When a lab has 4 or more wounds, destroy it and turn over the lab token to reveal its effect. Our Ancient One, in honor of our opponent for Christmas in Arkham, he's paying another visit to the channel, but we are taking on the King in Yellow, Hastur. When Hastur advances in stage 1, you gain a yellow sign token. Summon 1 Hastur disciple at the nearest gate and 1 cultist at each of the other gates. Before we go through the monsters, I'll also point out the summoning track toward the top of the board, where this is the track that we're looking at. So when Hastur gets to the red space, if the ritual hasn't been disrupted yet, he's summoned, but we can't attack him until we disrupt the ritual. If the replacement token then gets all the way over here, then we lose the game. So we do need to be very mindful of that. When we get to the Mythos cards, and I'll point it out when we get there as well, I think this is the symbol we're looking for in terms of when the Ancient One advances. We need 3 of those to advance the Ancient One. As far as our monsters, Hastur brings cultists and Hastur disciples with him. Cultists have 2 health. These cultists worship Hastur and roll 2 green dice when they attack you. The Hastur disciples roll 3 green dice, have 2 health, and if this deals you any wounds, we have to choose 1. Either take a yellow sign token or summon a cultist in this space, but it doesn't attack this turn. Then for the monsters for the episode, we have a fire vampire that has 4 health. When it attacks, first place a fire token in its space. Then it rolls a green and 2 black dice. Then the Bayaki that has 3 health. When it attacks, each elder sign also counts as a success, and it rolls 2 green and a black die when attacking. That's everything for episode setup. Now let's move over to the map to take a look at to check how everything looks. I think everything looks good in the shot here. We've got the rest of the investigators in shot. You might have seen I think I had their minis down there so you could see them when I was introducing the investigators. But our start space is over here. We've got our labs all set up, along with our starting monsters. So, let's get into this scenario, and Tina will be our first investigator. Before we zoom into Tina, I do want to point out that we've got our staircases here. These 2 spaces are connected via a staircase. Just so there's no confusion on that. Now we can zoom in a little bit into our investigators. So every investigator will have 3 actions on their turn, where you can run up to 3 spaces, attack an enemy, rest if you're in a safe space, which will heal 3 stress and health. 3 stress or health in any combination. Trade, or you can take episode actions, which we don't really need to take an episode action right now. What I think we need to do right now is try to get these 2 cultists out of our way, so I'll turn to Tina to do that. Action 1, she'll move into the space. She would try to sneak, but I don't think it makes much sense for her to sneak right now. Action 2, we're going to bring the dice tower in shot right there. Then she's going to make an attack roll against this cultist. She will default to getting 3 black dice, and because she has brawling, I had the frosted. Was this? I think there should have been one more frosted die in there. Maybe I have it. I think I do have it actually. And then we get a green die as well because Tina has brawling. I'm not going to use Femme Fatale here because against 2 health cultist, I don't think I need it. I mean, I do have stress I could spend to reroll. That's what the stress is for, by the way. But let's see what happens with our first roll. We get 2 successes, but 3 sanity right away, which I think I'll take that. And then we'll take one of these cultists out. Then for action 3, I'll run the attack back against the other cultist. That'll be 2 more successes, which will be enough to take the cultist out, but the sanity result in there will actually move us up to the first sanity threshold. Tina's not at full stress, so she takes 1 stress. But she does get to level something up, and I think I'm going to level up Femme Fatale. That will do it for Tina's turn, but now we need to get a card from the deck of Doom. So we get a Mythos card. This is the symbol. Oh boy, this is going to be a problem. Conflagration. This is the symbol we're looking for, by the way, to determine when the Ancient One advances. We add a fire token to your space and to each adjacent space. Oh, that's wonderful. Move that out of the way. So that's going to be adding fire tokens here, 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 and here. Oh, that's lovely. So now we got to be more sensitive to fire. You take fire when you leave the space. Right. And since Tina is safe, she got rid of the cultist, we got a discovery card. So Tina's first discovery. Good boy. Who's a good boy? You may take 2 stress to claim the dog. If you don't, claim the guilty conscience. Rex the dog. Heal 1 stress at the end of each of your turns. Or the guilty conscience, I should have done something. Well, I think we'll take the dog for 2 stress. We'll put that on the right side. And then she will actually heal a stress since it is the end of her turn, right? End of turn. Yes, resolve end of turn effects. Okay. We check the discard pile. We have nothing there. She didn't have any fire on her. Elder One summoning. We haven't advanced that. And then no Elder One end of turn effects. So we're all clear there. I'm actually going to use this lens cap as a turn marker. Moving over to Fleur. She's going to make a roll on the fire since I don't want to start taking a lot of fire this early in the scenario. Whoop. For her roll, she doesn't get the green die. We only need 1 success to remove the fire, which we get, but we also have a sanity, so we can deal with that. For action 2, I think we're just going to move her to that space. Do I want to bite the bullet and take 1 fire? Oh, wait a minute. Let me just double check that layout. No, that's right. That should be running into a wall. I think for action 2, we are going to bite the bullet. No, we're not. Actually, that was action 2 to move in, and then action 3 will actually try to extinguish the fire there. Fire first. Although she could, well, no. I was going to say she could take a shot at the cultist, but we're going to need to extinguish that fire quickly, though. That'll extinguish that fire, but she'll gain a sanity as well. So that goes there. And then Fleur gets a Mythos card as well. Her card. Lab accident. Oh, well, actually, this might be pretty good. That's another symbol, though. Each figure in a space with an undestroyed lab takes 1 wound. So that would be... We have 3 cultists that are taking wounds. That's actually welcome. 2 and 3 are taking wounds. The third one is actually just down here, just off shot. I'll zoom out so you can see it first. Well, I got to tip the camera a little bit as well. But this cultist down here is the one taking the 3rd wound. So now we can readjust that. Also, each investigator with a guilty conscience takes 2 stress, which Tina took the dog, so she's all cleared there. And for each stress they can't take, they would take a wound instead, so no problem there. Fleur is also safe, so she gets a discovery. She gets... Desk. Shoved against the wall. What's in this drawer? You may claim the whiskey bottle. Whiskey bottle. Discard this card to heal all your stress and discard all your guilty conscience cards. Okay. Doesn't seem like it really does much right now, but if we start taking a bunch of guilty consciences, we can deal with that. Looking at the kid, I kind of want to set her up around... If I can set her up in this space, I'll be very happy with that. Because that'll put her within 1 space of both the blue and yellow gates. So I'm going to move her... May attack a target 1 space away. I don't think I'm going to worry about that right now. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to move the kid 1, 2 into this space. Remember, there are 2 fire tokens there, but she doesn't take fire until she leaves the space. So we're all clear on that for the time being. Action 2, she's going to attack the cultist there. Hopefully we can extinguish fire. She's going to take a stress to reroll the blank die. I don't mind the sanity, but I do want to get another success out of this so I can take out the cultist and then concentrate on fire. That's another sanity. We'll take another stress to reroll. We'll reroll that sanity off. There we go. That was an elder sign, it just knocked it. So we'll take out the cultist. The kid will take a sanity, though. Oh. Then the pyromaniac is going to extinguish fire, because it's bad enough that we've got a fire-heavy scenario, and now we've got a pyromaniac in it, so we're going to be pouring gasoline a little bit too literally on that fire, by the way. Two successes, but another sanity, so we do get to extinguish the fire, but the kid will lose another sanity. That will do it for her. Let's see what her Mythos card is. Third symbol, that was fast. Each cultist moves 1 space toward you. So cultist moves there, there, and there. Then we summon a cultist on red, the 1 space that we can't cover. That one has 1 wound. Then she does get to investigate since she's in a safe space. The kid will draw. Come on. Furious student. He can't hurt me anymore. I have a gun. You may take 1 wound to claim either the furious student or the pistol. Chester the furious student. 3 health. You cannot have both Chester and the professor as companions. Discard 1 for 3 health. Or the pistol. When attacking, gain a green die. If you have the marksman skill, gain 2 green instead. I think we'll take a wound and claim the pistol. I'd rather have the pistol than the student here. Mostly because the pistol, I think, is going to be more valuable with 3 marksman characters on the team. But we go through end of turn. We don't have any end of turn for the kid. She didn't take any fire this turn. Mythos discard pile, we do have symbols there, so the elder one, so Hastur will advance, which means he'll move into the first green marker on the track. The kid will gain a yellow sign token. Those will become dangerous later in the scenario. Then we summon a Hastur disciple at the nearest gate, which could be either red or yellow, or either yellow or blue. Either way, it'll be coming in with a wound. I guess we'll summon the Hastur disciple at the yellow gate for thematic reasons. It'll come in with a wound because of the kid's special ability. 1, as will the cultist at blue. That one will take a wound. And then we'll summon another cultist at the red gate. Those will all get shuffled back in. The Ancient One is not summoned yet. And we've already resolved the... Oh, we have to resolve the... When the Elder One advances, place a fire token in each space that has any cultists and no fire. That has cultists and no fire. So we get fire here, and fire here. Then we'll reshuffle the Mythos deck. It'll be a pretty crappy shuffle with a 16-card shuffle, and I'm doing it in midair. I usually do this on a table, but it seems to be bridge shuffling pretty well. So that was a pretty quick advance on Hastur, just from pulling 3 symbols right off the bat. Wait. If you're in the same space, so never mind. Those don't come in with wounds on them. We do need to level up that gate manipulation pronto, though, so we can work it within. So we can work that from a distance. Good thing I actually reread the ability. Over to Ernest next. I think we move him into the center space with the kid and start blasting. So this cultist had a wound on him. So we'll move Ernest 1. Actually, let me get the dice tower just slightly turned. We might actually go work on that lab. I think that's a pretty good plan right now. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll start making a roll against the lab. Remember, we need 4 wounds to the lab to destroy it. There's the lid for the dice cup. So we'll make a roll against the lab up here in Ernest's space. That's 2 sanity. That's gross. He's going to take a stress to reroll. Actually, he's going to take 2 stress to reroll 2 of his dice. Getting 2 successes because he's got Arcane Mastery as well. He'll take a sanity, though, which I can deal with that. So 2 stress, or 2 wounds on the lab and a stress. And then for action 3, he'll run that back. Get nothing out of that. We'll take 1 stress to reroll 1 of the dice. He's going to need to rest next turn. We might as well just go full stress. We'll reroll the blank there. Taking 3... Well, actually, this kind of works. So we'll deal another wound to the lab, which will be 3. Remember, it needs 4. He'll take 3 stress, which means his disorder will trigger. He takes 1 stress for every other figure in his space, except he's alone, so he heals all of his stress instead, which means he might not actually need to rest. Then he gets to level something up. We will level up Marksman. Actually, no, let's level up... let's level up Marksman. That way we can start working on some of these enemies from a distance, because we're starting to get some cultists on the board. Probably, I think, more than I would like, ultimately. But let's see what Ernest draws for a Mythos card. Monsters in the lab. Each fire vampire and Bayaki moves 1 space toward you. And no symbol. So we move there and there. Then we summon a fire vampire on yellow. And a Bayaki on blue. So the board is getting very crowded. And I think this is really turning into my one gripe with these CMON games, is I wish the tiles were actually a bit bigger for the monsters that you're putting out on them. It's one of the main reasons I turned on the Zombicide games as hard as I did. But Ernest is safe, so he gets a discovery card he will find. The Professor. Have you seen my students? They walked out during an experiment. If any investigator has the spirit of Nagahal, the Professor bursts into flames. Discard this and lose 1 sanity. Otherwise, you may take 2 stress to claim the Professor. While you have him, Warren Gates Professor. While you have him, gain 1 level in Arcane Mastery. Well, we just healed all his stress, so we can take 2 to claim the Professor. Which means while he has the Professor, he's considered to have level 2 in Arcane Mastery. So that will do it for round 1. Not a bad first round. We've got 3 wounds on one of the labs, but we've got more monsters on the board than I would like. We may be turning to the kid next turn to try to do something about that, but we're into... Actually, we could probably send... We have a couple options here. We could potentially send the kid to help with those, or we could send Tina in to help with that, but I don't want to get her... I really don't want to get her attacked that aggressively, but we'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, round 2, and let's drop into Tina's turn during this round. Sending Tina into either of the gate spaces right now sounds like a very, very easy way to get herself killed, to get her killed. So we're going to try not to do that. Instead, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to send her up 1, 2, 3 to try to help with Ernest. Then she's going to try to extinguish fire, which will be 3 black dice. Mostly because I'm thinking Ernest is probably going to have to leave the space. Well, maybe not. He'll probably try to work this down from a distance. She's going to take a stress to re-roll the blank. I'm looking to get a success here. I don't want 3 sanity, but I think I have to re-roll it. I think I have to re-roll 1 of those. I get a success and 2 sanity, which I can deal with. So I'll take the 2 sanity and clear the fire token out. Then she's going to rest. Go back down to 1 stress. That's it for Tina. Let's see what she draws. Her Mythos card. Suicide Pact. Each investigator with 2 or more yellow sign tokens takes a wound. Fortunately, the only one with a yellow sign wound right now is the kid, and she only has 1. And we summon a cultist on blue. That blue space is turning into a huge problem. Fortunately, though, Tina gets another discovery, so let's see what she finds here. Monkey Paw. Painted glyphs on the floor. What's going on here? If you have the monkey as a companion, take 2 wounds and discard the monkey. You may claim the Monkey Paw, or discard it to heal all your health. The Monkey Paw. Each elder sign may count as both a success and a sanity. This cannot be traded, which we will claim that. So now Tina has something of a use for the elder signs, but we need to be very careful with that, because that's going to send her flying up the sanity track. As for Fleur, you know what? I think we put our marksman to work. So I'll move Fleur for action 1 into here. Then action 2, we're going to take a shot at the... We're going to take a shot at this Bayaki. She only gets the 3 black dice, but she can attack from 1 space away because she's got marksman. So that's something. She does not have arcane mastery. I thought she did. That's still good enough. That'll still be good enough for 1 wound on the Bayaki, though. And action 3, she'll do it again. That's 2 successes. That'll be enough to take out the Bayaki, but she'll also take 2 sanity, which I can work with that. You just need to do something to try to get the... We need to try to do something to get that blue gate under control. That's it for Fleur. Let's see what her Mythos card says. Fire Vampire. Oh, fantastic. Each Fire Vampire moves 1 space towards you, then place a fire token in their spaces. And that is a symbol. So that Fire Vampire moves there. That one moves there. Then we put fire tokens in their spaces. Joy, joy. Alright, then we skip summoning a fire vampire on yellow because they're both out. Yowza! And then Fleur is actually not safe, so she gets attacked. First we put a fire token down in the space. The fire vampire attacks with a green and 2 black dice. So we put the black die back. The green die out. I put the fire token in its space for its pre-attack fire token. It doesn't count Elder Signs as successes, thankfully, like the Bayaki does. So just 1 sanity, I think we can take that. Then we have to steal at least 1 item, companion, or tradable episode token, which will steal a pistol from the kid, since we have to. If we can't steal anything, we would take 2 stress instead, but we were able to steal something. Even though I'm not happy with having to use an action to trade it back to Fleur. So that's it for Fleur's turn. Over to the kid. Action 1, I am going to trade the pistol right back. A little bit annoying that I have to waste the action to do that, but no help for that here. But the kid for action 2 is going to start blasting, and she's going to start with the fire vampire in her space. Which will give me the 3 black and another green die, since she does have the marksman skill. Fire vampire is 4 health, though. That's going to be a problem. Ooh. 2 successes and 2 sanity. Yikes. Actually, I think Fleur's gonna bite. We're gonna have to bite the bullet for Fleur on this one. So we'll take the 2 successes. And then we'll take 2 sanity, which will get the kid to a sanity threshold. We have to put a fire token in our space. Then we deal wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in your space to all other figures there. So Fleur will actually take 3 wounds. She'll need to rest badly next turn. But we do get to take out the fire vampire as well. And now the kid's first order of business. Now she's going to level up. I was automatically going to level up gate manipulation so I could work within 1 space of a gate. But there's an argument to be made to level up marksman, especially if we need to start blasting these enemies. This is a tough decision. You know, I think right now we need marksman too much. We need to start getting these enemies under control is what needs to start happening. So that was action 2 for Fleur, or for the kid. Action 3, she's going to go after this Bayaki. And she now gets 2 extra green dice since she's attacking a target from a space away. 5, 6, 7. Stop knocking over Ernest. We'll put that through, though. We definitely got enough successes to take out the Bayaki, but the kid's going to take another sanity. So the Bayaki's gone, and that's it for the kid's turn. Now let's see what her Mythos card says. Lab accident. Each figure in a lab, in a space with an undestroyed lab, takes 1 wound. So both the cultists in this bottom lab are going to take a wound. Tina and Ernest are each going to take a wound, since we have not managed to take out that lab yet, and there's nobody here. And then each investigator with a guilty conscience would take 2 stress, except none of them have a guilty conscience. Now the kid gets a discovery because she's safe, so we find. Locked cabinet. You can probably pry this open. You may take 3 wounds to claim the Amulet of Nagahal. If you do not, claim the Spirit. Amulet of Nagahal. If you would take wounds from fire, you may instead deal that many wounds to 1 enemy in your space. Or the Spirit of Nagahal. This companion cannot be traded and cannot be given wounds. The kid would be down to 1, but I think it's probably worth it, especially since she's a pyromaniac. We'll claim the amulet, which means fire won't be that big a problem for her. but we need to be very mindful of her health right now. She's going to need to rest desperately next turn. As is Fleur, actually, looking at the board. Ernest is going to try to finish off that lab that he and Tina have been working on. So we can put the green dice away. And then we'll roll Ernest's roll against the lab. That's 3 successes, but a sanity. We can deal with that. So we'll take the sanity, and then the lab is destroyed. Because that was we were going to put 3 more wounds on it. So the lab result for, on the space with Ernest and Tina. Inferno. Place a fire token in this and each adjacent space. Oh, wonderful. So we put a fire token here, here, and here, as if we needed more fire. Then Ernest is going to work on these cultists. So he's going to attack the cultist in here first. It only needs 1 more wound, and he's rolling 5 dice against it. This is probably... I shouldn't say this is going to be a gimme, because I've seen myself roll more dice than this and come up with Bubkiss. Granted, that was in some of the other games in the Mythos, but it's happened often enough that it's not just a gimme. Fortunately, this is not one of those times, so he'll take another sanity, but he'll wipe out the cultist very easily. And then let's see what we can do about that Hastur disciple next on the same plan. So if we had another roll like that, I would be very happy with that. I'm not happy with a roll like that, though. So we'll take a stress to re-roll one of these green dice. Take another stress to re-roll the other one. He's going to be at full, unfortunately, after this. And we get one hit on the Hastur Disciple and 1 sanity. That's not something I wanted to see, but that's it for Ernest's turn, unfortunately. So we get a Mythos card for him, we find. The yellow sign. If you're in the same space as Hastur or a Hastur Disciple, take 2 stress. For each stress you can't take a wound. So we are actually not in the same space with a Hastur Disciple. If you're not in the same space, gain a yellow sign. So Ernest will now gain a yellow sign token. Heading into round 3, we've just destroyed our first lab. So hopefully we can start getting this board a little bit more under control, but we're going to have to turn to Tina to see what we can do about that. Alright, looking at Tina's turn, she'd be taking a lot of fire if we do that. Well, I think we can take 1 fire token. So for action 1, she's going to move down here, taking a fire token on her way out of that space. I don't like taking fire, but I don't think we have a choice in the matter. Action 2, she's going to attack this Hastur Disciple with 3 black and a green because of brawling. So that one can leave the shot. We only need 1 wound on this to take it out. Which, we have to remember that because she's got the monkey paw, each elder sign may count as both a success and a sanity. So we do take out the Hastur Disciple. But she's going to move 3 on the sanity track, which is rather unfortunate. But at least we get to another threshold so we get stopped, which means her short-term memory loss goes up. Or goes off. If she's at full stress, she's not. She takes a stress. And then she'll get to level something up. She will level up. Let's level up stealth. We're probably going to need, with as many enemies as we've got here, we're probably going to need to do something about that. So it was move, attack, and I think we have 1 more action, which we'll use to try to extinguish that 2 fire space. So she gets the green die again, now that she's at a sanity threshold. So let's see what happens here. That's 3 successes, but 2 more sanity. So we do get rid of the fire tokens. And 2 more sanity. So 1, 2. She's about halfway down her sanity track. That was Tina's third action. So for her Mythos card. Oh joy, Hastur Disciple. Each Hastur Disciple moves 2 spaces toward you. And we summon one on yellow. So of course Tina's going to get attacked. Which means the Hastur Disciple attacks with 3 green dice. Does Tina have any stress that she can use to re-roll? She's got 2 that she can use to re-roll. And that's before we even factor in the fire roll. Yowza, I don't want to be taking 3 wounds, but I don't think I have a choice in that matter. So we'll re-roll one of these. Okay, that's better. And then we'll spend her last stress to re-roll. I think we will have to take the 2 wounds. But if this deals you any wounds, we have to take either a yellow sign or summon a cultist that doesn't attack. I think we're going to take the yellow sign. Because I don't want to take another wound and then roll fire. Then I have to roll fire where the wound would kill me then. Okay, so that's all done there. Tina didn't get a discovery card. Right. Alright, so we resolved end of turn, which the Ancient One will be advancing, but we'll get to that in a minute. Fire, we roll a black die because we have 1 fire token on her. I'm going to take the stress to try to re-roll that. That worked even worse, but I think the monkey paw is each elder sign may count. So I don't have to count it, and in this case, I won't. So that goes away, and then the fire token gets discarded. I don't want Tina to be just in danger right now, even though she's got plenty of problems right now. So with that, now we go through the Mythos discard pile. So the Ancient One is advancing, which means Tina will gain another yellow sign token, which will summon another Hastur Disciple at the nearest gate, which is yellow, and a cultist at blue and red. Alright, and then we place a fire token in each space that is cultists and no fire, but I think we're all clear there because all the spaces with cultists have fire on them. So now we'll reshuffle the Mythos deck. I think we can give it one more shuffle. And then we should be good. I think that's everything there. Now moving over to Fleur's turn, we need to give Tina some serious help on that. So she's going, well, actually we've got to deal with these cultists as well. These are a mess as well. But I think our immediate danger right now is for Tina. So she's going to start working on the Hastur Disciples in Tina's space. So her first action will be to target this Hastur Disciple with an attack. Remember, it is 1 space away. Which that'll be more than enough to take out that first Hastur Disciple. Then she'll target then Fleur will target the second one. Wonderful. We do lose a sanity, but we also take out this Hastur Disciple. Then for action 3, Fleur will rest, healing for 3 wounds. That was helpful. And then next up, our Mythos card for Fleur. Students go mad. If you have any student companions, discard a student and summon a cultist in your space. She has exactly no student companions, And she's safe, so she gets a discovery. Fleur will find. Whatever wants to focus, she will find. There we are. Clutter. Hard to find anything in this mess. You may take 1 stress to claim the beaker. You may discard this card to deal wounds to all labs and figures either in your space, including you, or an adjacent space. Each target takes wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in their space. I think we will take that. We'll claim a stress for that. I want to be very careful when we use that. Actually, we could probably use that. No, we couldn't yet. I was going to say we could probably use that to deal with the... Well, we could have used that to deal with the mess in Tina's space, but it would have killed Tina as well. So never mind that. Moving into the kid's next turn. First thing she needs to do is rest. She needs to get herself away from the brink. 1, 2, 3 wounds. Then she'll rest again to go back to full strength. Then she's going to... Actually, she's going to extinguish fire. I want to try to get rid of some of these fire tokens. Because 3 in 1 space seems like a problem. At least a mild one, but what do I know? Now we'll send that one through the tower, but I like what I see so far. The question is, do I like 3... The question is, do I like 3 sanity and 1 success? I don't, so I'm going to roll re-roll one of the sanity. Okay, that I like a little bit better. We'll take the 2 sanity and get rid of 2 of these fire tokens. I'm not going to get greedy and try to get rid of the 3rd one as well. At least not right now, I'm not. But the kid gets a Mythos card as well. She finds the king in yellow. Choose 1. Either each investigator rolls a black die for each yellow sign token they have. They take 1 wound for each success and lose 1 sanity for each tentacle re-rolled, or at the end of the turn, advance Hastur on the track as if there were 3 summons. Yikes! Well, if we do that, Ernest would be rolling 1 die. Actually, Ernest and the kid would both be rolling 1 die, which I wouldn't be worried about. Tina with 2, however, would be rolling 2 dice, and she's got 2 wounds left, so that could kill her. But I'm not sure I want to advance Hastur again. The question is, do I have a choice in the matter? Or the question is, what is my choice? Because if we advance Hastur, we gain another yellow sign. The Hastur Disciple could go to either gate. The Cultist would go everywhere else, which would turn the blue gate into an even more gigantic mess. This is a tough decision. Because if we choose to have each investigator roll a die for each yellow sign token and Tina rolls wrong, that could be rolls badly. That could be the end of the scenario. Oh, Tina should have healed the stress at the end of her turn. I forgot about having the dog. So that's something, I guess. Yikes, I don't really want to advance Hastur, so I think the lesser evil here is for each investigator to roll for each yellow sign token they have. So the kid will roll 1 die, taking a wound for a success. Ernest will also roll a die, taking a wound for a success. And then here's where it gets tricky, because now we have to roll 2 dice for Tina. And if this kills her, the scenario is just over. Although she does have a stress to reroll if she needs to. Which 1 and 1? I'm actually going to take the stress to reroll the success. Mostly because I want to try to keep... Oh no! If I reroll that and get a sanity, I'm going to lose the dog. I think I'm just going to bite the bullet then and take the 1 and 1. Plan on having Tina rest like crazy next turn, assuming she can. Which is far from a guarantee, but let's see what happens here. Fortunately, we didn't summon anything. Ernest is up next, and I think he's going to move... We're going to start working on this... Do I want to work on the lab next, or go and try to clear some of these cultists out. I think he's going to work. I think we're going to work on getting rid of some of these cultists. So he's going to move one into here, take a fire token for leaving this space. Then for action 2, he's going to shoot into the blue gate, starting with the weakened cultist. We'll get the 3 black dice and the 2 green. Because he's got leveled up marksman. That's how he gets the extra 2 green dice. That cultist goes bye-bye, but Ernest loses 2 sanity, which will get him to a threshold. Take 1... Oh, yikes. Take 1 stress for every other figure in your space. He's at full stress already, so he can't do anything about that. And then if he's alone, which he's not, he's going to roll, or he's going to gain... What's he going to level up? I think he's going to level up Arcane Mastery. So now he can heal. So technically he has it at level 2 on his own, but it's actually at level 3 because he's got Warren Gates that gives him that. So now he gets to heal 1 stress for each Elder Sign he counts as a success. So moving was action 1, shooting in was action 2. Action 3 he'll shoot in again. We'll target this cultist, and now he gets 3 green dice and 3 black dice because he's at a sanity threshold. Alright, we're going to count the 2 Elder Signs as our successes, which will take out the cultist and heal him for 2 stress. So that'll heal 2 stress, but he'll advance further on the sanity track as well. So that's actually kind of welcome. That will do it for Ernest's turn. He needs a Mythos card, though. The yellow sign. If you're in the same space as Hastur or a Hastur Disciple, which we're not, take 2 stress, yada yada yada. If we're not in the same space, gain a yellow sign. I don't think there are any Hastur Disciples on the board, but I think we still gain the yellow sign because technically we're not in the same space as a Hastur Disciple. But he is safe, so he gets a discovery. Ernest's discovery. Medical supplies. Has to be something useful here. You may claim the medicine. Discard this card to heal all wounds from 1 investigator in your space, including you. Which he will, and he'll immediately toss it to heal Tina for all of her wounds. That means Tina doesn't have to just rest next turn, but he does have to roll for fire. So we'll get the green dice out of shot, out of the tower, and we'll roll this black die. He'll take a wound for the fire, and he'll discard the fire token. He's probably going to have to rest next turn, but that will do it for round 3. It was starting to look bleak there for a little bit, but we managed to settle everything down and get it under control. So now we're into round 4, and we'll start a new round off with Tina. We're going to start working on this lab, so I'm going to move Tina over here for action 1, 2 spaces. Then action 2, she's going to make a roll against the lab, so she's going to get her 3 black and a green die. Where is the lid? Here it is. Hopefully we can take this lab out in one shot. Wouldn't that be wonderful? 2 successes and 2 stress, which will make that go off. Those 2 successes will be a wound and a sanity, which will make her disorder go off. Short-term memory loss. She's not at full stress, so she takes 1 stress. But she'll get to level up. This time she'll level up her Femme Fatale. Then for action 3, she'll rest and heal 3 stress. Tina's Mythos card. Monsters in the lab. Each fire vampire in Bayaki moves 1 space toward you. So the fire vampire just moves downstairs. Then we summon a fire vampire on yellow and a Bayaki on blue, which is turning that space right back into a mess. Tina's safe, so she does get a discovery, which means we find. Up to no good. The professor. He asked me to help. I'm not in trouble, am I? The student holds a beaker. If you have a guilty conscience, take 1 stress, which we don't. You may take 2 stress to claim either the grad student or the beaker. Charles, the grad student, gives you 2 green dice to extinguish a fire or a beaker. You may discard this card to deal wounds to all labs and figures either in your space, including you, or an adjacent space. Each figure takes wounds equal to the number of fire tokens in their space. I think we're going to take 2 stress either way, which we do have, to claim. We're actually doing a pretty good job of keeping fire down. I'd like to keep it that way, especially with a pyromaniac on the loose. So I'm going to gain the grad student, which will give me 2 green dice to extinguish fire. Then at the end of the turn, Tina heals a stress, and nothing else going on there. She hasn't left the space yet for fire, so no problem there. As for Fleur, we need to give Ernest some help as he's got 2 fire vampires on him now. So we're going to start off with a shot at this fire vampire with just her 3 black dice. The fire vampires have 4 health each. That's not great for us. But let's see what happens here. Does she have Arcane Mastery? She does not. That's unfortunate. We can take a stress to reroll. I'd like to get at least 1 hit on them, although the kid's going to be doing a lot of attacking, most likely next turn. We're not going to worry about that. She'll just take the 1 stress, and then she'll reroll the attack. This will be action 3. It's just to clarify the wording. This is action 3, not a reroll of the attack. Okay, 1 wound is a little bit more like it, so we'll put that there. And then Fleur's Mythos card. Suicide Pact. Each investigator with 2 or more yellow signs takes a wound, which I believe is... No, it's both Tina and Ernest. Yikes. Okay, Ernest is in a very bad way. And then we summon a cultist on blue. Okay, moving down to the kid, it just became imperative that we get Ernest safe to rest, because if we can't, those fire vampires are probably going to kill him. So we need to start doing marksman things with the kid. She's going to attack this fire vampire. She gets 4 green dice plus the black dice because she's got the pistol and she has marksman level 2. She'll be hitting a sanity threshold on her next sanity. Yeah, I think we can take that. So we'll take the fire vampire out. But that will be enough that'll be enough sanity to trigger her disorder again. She'll put a fire token on her space and deal 2 wounds to Fleur, because that's how many are there. The kid will now finally level up... do I level up Gate Manipulation, or do I level up Arcane Mastery? I think we level up Gate Manipulation, especially in case anything summons either yellow or blue. Then for action 2, she'll run back the attack against the other fire vampire. Like I said, our top objective is getting Ernest safe to rest the next turn. Because he does not have stealth, so he's going to have to... So if the kid can't kill the fire vampire, Ernest is going to have to. Fortunately for us, the kid very much can kill the fire vampire, but that will give her another 2 sanity on the way. So that'll give her another 2 sanity, but at least now we have Ernest very much safe to rest, which he needed to be. Then a Mythos card for the kid says... Naming the Nameless. Oh boy. Each investigator rolls 1 black die for each yellow sign token they have. They take 1 wound for each success and lose a sanity for each tentacle rolled. Alright, starting from the kid, she has 1 black... Oh boy, this is going to be dangerous for Ernest. So the kid has 1 yellow sign token, so she rolls 1 black die. Okay, that's a sanity, so we can deal with that. Ernest is where it gets dangerous, though, because he's got 1 wound left. And we have to roll 2 black dice for each yellow... I believe it's 2 for each... 1 for each yellow sign. Yep, so 2. We might have to give a wound to Warren Gates here. Yikes. Okay, he's definitely going to have to re-roll that. Because because 2 wounds would kill both Warren Gates and him and end the scenario. That's still a success. So we've got to take the last stress. I'm going to re-roll this die. Okay, that's a blank. So we can deal with defeating Warren Gates, which will lose us the level 3 Arcane Mastery, bring us down to 2. But it also won't just end the scenario on the spot, which is the more dangerous thing. And that's our first symbol. We also summon a cultist on yellow. That'll come in with 1 wound. So hopefully Ernest can wipe that out on his turn so he can rest. But the kid is safe, so we get a discovery card. The kid finds cages. This cage contains a 1-handed lab monkey. It looks at you cunningly. If you have a guilty conscience, take 1 stress. You may claim the lab monkey, or heal all of your stress and claim the guilty conscience instead. The 1-handed lab monkey can be discarded to give 1 of your items to an investigator anywhere. I think we'll claim the lab monkey. Alright, then over to Ernest's turn. First order of business for Ernest is killing this cultist so that he can rest. Which means we get the 3 black dice plus a green die. Toodaloo, Mr. Cultist. You're gone. Ernest will then rest himself away from the brink of health and give himself some stress back as well for action 3. His Mythos card. Hastur Disciple. Each Hastur Disciple moves 1 space toward you, which fortunately there are no Hastur Disciples on the board yet. There will be 1 coming onto blue. And then, did we level up gate manipulation? We did. So that cultist comes in, or that Hastur Disciple comes in with 1 health. And then Ernest is safe, so he gets a discovery card he finds. Feral Student. She only makes vague simian noises. You may take 2 stress to claim the Feral Student, but if you do not, claim the guilty conscience. Margot the Feral Student. While you have her gain 1 level in Brawling, but you can't have both Margot and the Professor as companions. Discard 1 with 1 health. We'll give him the Feral Student. He'll get a level in Brawling. And I've got a handy-dandy Brawling token that I can use to remind me that Ernest has that. Which might be, well, I was going to say, might be worth passing over to Tina, but probably not. We need more attack effects here. We only have 2 symbols in the discard pile, so we're all clear there. As for looking at round 5 now, we've managed to get the board somewhat settled down, but we need to work on these labs, which I think will be Tina's first order of business on her turn. Indeed, the lab will be Tina's first order of business, so she'll make a roll against the lab. I think we need 2 more wounds to destroy it. So let's see what we can do there. That'll do. So that'll take the lab out, and we'll see what our destroyed lab in here is once I make this cooperate with me. Major explosion. Deal 2 wounds to all enemies in this and adjacent spaces. Oh, that's a waste. Then she'll move 1, 2. I'm not sending her into this mess until we clear it out a little bit more, because sending her in there is a very easy way to get her killed. Action 3, she'll just rest. That's a thing that can happen. And then our next card, Fire Vampire, and that's the third one. The nearest Fire Vampire moves 2 spaces toward you, then place 1 fire token in its space. We don't have any Fire Vampires on the board. We summon 1 into the mess at blue. Yep. And then since it's within a space of the gate, we round up on wounds. So the Fire Vampire comes in with 2 wounds. I think I know what our marksman team's first order of business is going to be. But we do get a discovery because Tina's safe. So Tina will draw fire equipment. This should come in handy. You may claim the fire extinguisher or the fire axe. The fire extinguisher gains 2 green dice to extinguish a fire or fire axe. When attacking, gain a green die if you have the brawling skill. I'm going to take the fire axe on that one. We could use a weapon for brawling. And then at the end of her turn, Tina would heal a stress from having Rex, but Tina's already down at no stress right now, so she's clear there. Looking at Fleur, now I think we just go after that mess on the blue gate. Actually, how many fire tokens are in there? I think there was 1 in there. So I think we're actually going to toss the beaker to deal the wounds to this space, and we'll deal, I think I saw 1 fire token in there, right? Yes. Okay, so the Hastur Disciple's gone, and everything else takes 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, and the Fire Vampire is up to 3. It needs 1 more. So I think we'll start action 1 by trying to take out the Fire Vampire. Fleur only gets the 3 black dice for this attack. Hopefully this battery lasts until this round where I can change it out. That'll be more than enough to take the Fire Vampire out, but Fleur will take another sanity. So the Fire Vampire's toast. Let's see if we can soften up the Bayaki a little bit next with action 2. Never mind softening it up, we can take it out, but that will trigger Fleur's disorder, which I don't like. Because we did get a sanity roll in there, and Fleur will be hitting a threshold. So she'll klepto the... We could steal a companion, and I think we'll steal the monkey instead. That way we don't have to burn an action trading with pistol. Then she'll get to level something up. We're going to level up Marksman. Actually, this should have been her second. She must have passed the sanity threshold, and I forgot to level something up. So we're going to pretend that she levels up Marksman now. We'll level up Stealth, because we haven't been doing anything with Stealth. Then for action 3, she's going to shoot in again, dealing with one of these cultists. So she'll get 6. She'll get 3 green and 3 black dice. We'll do it like that. It's probably overkill, but I'd rather have overkill trying to wipe these cultists out than underkill. So that'll be another 1 sanity for Fleur, and that's it for her turn. So these should have been shuffled in, and Hastur should have advanced. That would have been on Tina's turn. So Tina would have taken another yellow sign, and we would have summoned a Hastur Disciple at the nearest gate, which would have been yellow, and a cultist at each other one. So actually, that cultist would be dead because we tossed the beaker. No, I think we tossed the beaker. No, this one would be... Actually, this one would have 1 health anyway because of the kid's gate manipulation. Okay, so now that we've got that figured out... All right, we'll give that a cut. Now that we got that figured out, now we get a Mythos card for Fleur. Sheep finds. Another Hastur Disciple. Each Hastur Disciple moves 2 spaces toward you. So it's only the 1, and then we summon another one on yellow. And the Hastur Disciple attacks Fleur with 3 green dice. Which will take a stress to reroll. The Elder Signs don't count as successes for the Hastur Disciple, so we'll take a success or stress to reroll the success and take no wounds, so we don't have to worry about the effect there. I'm going to see if I can push the camera here. We're going to move quickly so I can try to finish the round before I need to change the battery. The kid's going to start shooting into the mess in blue. So she's going to attack the cultist. She's going to attack this cultist. Actually, she's got to deal with the... We'll start with the cultist, then we'll see what happens from there. She'll take a cultist out, but she'll take another sanity, which will trigger her disorder once again. This is actually really bad. We're going to get a little bit better, I think, than the camera ending the round. So we'll put a fire token there. Then we'll deal 3 wounds to each other figure in the space. So that'll take out the Hastur Disciple. Unfortunately, what it will also do is it'll also deal 3 wounds to Fleur and kill her, which does end the scenario because Hastur hasn't been summoned yet. So we actually put up a pretty decent fight there, but our Pyromaniac just kind of did us in on that one. But that will do it for this playthrough of Cthulhu Death May Die. Later this afternoon, I'm hoping to have a video up on Roll for Great Old Ones from Hodari Spiel. Saturday Mystical Munchies will be the side out of the Final Fantasy XIV Ultimate Cookbook as we make Honey Muffin. And we might have a game on Saturday, I don't know yet. But I do know we'll have a game on Sunday as we continue Christmas in Arkham with the second leg of the campaign against Hastur, Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, where we also need a new investigator. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.